Trauma surgeon comes in, he's like, what happened? I told him, hey, you know, stuff like this, you're going down Potrero, and he's like, ugh, another one. So I've been riding bikes a long time, and this is like January 2018. I was on a team called Impact Racing, a great group of guys. And so my best friend, his name's Daniel, and we were at our team camp up in like the Oxnard-ish area. I don't know where I was. All I know is this: in January 2018, I happened to be like the only person on our team like who had a disc brake bike. So I have the best stopping power, which is like good to know. And it was really funny. I didn't like clean my bike very well, so the brakes would go. People were giving me shit all day about it. Oh, your brakes, they keep. And I was like, well, safety feature lets you know we're stopping. It honestly ended up saving half of us because the route we were on took us down this crazy hill. I think it's called Potrero. Anyways, it's stupid steep. And so we roll into it. There's like 20 of us. I'm like maybe fifth person back. And someone just happens to be like, hey, Tim, it's kind of a technical descent. I want to take it easy. I was like, okay. Usually when people say that, it's like not that technical. They're just like telling you that so you don't do something stupid. And the moment we crest, and I'm like cresting, and just coasting, all of a sudden I'm going like 40 miles an hour. I was like, oh, this is steep. And you see the bottom, and the bottom's it's not a straight path to get there. So you're like, okay, there's turns on this. This is going fast. So I was like, okay, I start grabbing the brakes. And I don't slow down that much. I'm like, okay, if I have the best braking power and I'm not slowing down, like, this is dangerous. So I'm like, okay, we need to like chill out here. In the first turn, I was like, ooh, this is nasty. And we come to this left turn. It's a blind left turn. And I start grabbing brakes to hit it. And my disc rotors are like, so everyone hears it. They start to slow down. I go through the corner. I'm like barely making it. And then I see him. I see Daniel like laying on the ground, but not just like laying on the ground, like wrapped around a guardrail. And like not wrapped around a guardrail, like, ow, that hurt, let me get back. Like, dude, he looked dead. And I was like, oh shit. Like his bike's over there. He's just wrapped around this guardrail. Like, I work in healthcare. I worked at a hospital. I know what dead people look like. And I was like, instantly freaked out. I was like, oh shit. But there like wasn't time to freak out. There's like only time to spring into action. The moment I came through the corner, I skidded out, threw my bike on the ground, jumped over the guardrail, was like, oh, that's a cliff, that's dangerous, and kind of like made my way across the guardrail to where he's like hanging off, like back like this, his neck's at this crazy angle. And like, I'm a PT, so I'm trained to like assess people, and I was like, ooh, I hope not, but like, his neck might be broken. I was like, I hope it's not, but like, I'm gonna be extra safe with this. So like the moment I went up to him, I like grabbed his head and stabilized his entire like cervical spine so it like wouldn't move. Like if you had a cervical collar, I just like grabbed it and held him still and just like immediately was like, all right, ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation, just going through triage. And fortunately, my teammate Craig is a firefighter, was right behind me and sprung into action. It was like, boom. So within like 20 seconds of him not making this left turn and this guardrail saving him from flying off into oblivion, like in this canyon, he's wrapped around this thing. And within like 20 seconds, I'm at his head. He's unconscious. I can't even tell if he's breathing yet. Craig's over there, like check in. All of a sudden he just goes, oh, and he comes awake, starts yelling, starts like moving his arms around. And I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, okay, all right. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but it was still bad. So he's like freaking out. He was just knocked out. I'm on the side of this cliff in the dirt on my knees. And so I'm holding his head. I'm looking down. I'm like, oh, that's a steep hill. Like there's a straight up drop off. And I'm just like on the side of this thing. I was like, oh my God, don't let my feet slip out while I'm holding his neck here. But I was like, I don't know if he doesn't have like a fracture in his spine. So I was like, I have to stay here until someone comes. I was like, this is gonna suck. So I like happened to like look at my watch and like, I forget what time it was, and be like, all right, cool. Time 0, here we go. And so I'm holding him there, just like trying to hold him still. And he's there. At first he like had no clue where he was. He's like, oh, what's going on? And then he was like, oh, my leg. I was like, what? I look over and finally I realized like his femur's just like in half. Like you kind of missed that off the bat. Like I was just like, all right, cool. Let's make sure you're not bleeding out of your femoral artery. So we like scan that and make sure he's not. He's like, oh, my leg. But I was like, oh, thank God you're alive. Our team at the time had like 2 or 3 like police officers, a firefighter, me, like without saying anything, everyone like sprung into action. We had our like police officer teammates like literally blocking traffic. Someone was already on the phone giving like actual like coordinates to where we are. They're like, yeah, I'm, so many, miles up from this here, stuff like that. And giving a full scene. Craig, the firefighter, is doing triage. I'm stabilizing his spine and talking to him. It's just like, it was seamless. Like we just sprung into action. I was like, this is the best possible scenario that you could wrap yourself around a guardrail. Cause like, someone probably just found you later all dead laying around here bleeding out or something. Instead, you have an entire team of people to like come around you and guide you through this. And so like finally they get the fire department to come there. They come over and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm going to be relieved now. They're going to come over and they put the collar on him and they look at me. They're like, you good there? Cause we need you to hold his head until we can extract him from this. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, dude, this sucks. Like, I'm dying over here. Like, I'm like leaning over, I'm holding his head. I still feel like I'm gonna fall down this cliff. I'm just like, I got it. Because at that moment, you just have to like harden up and be like, well, this is what I have to do right now. I just have to hold and talk him through it. And it's what we did. So they brought the monitor over. They set up they set up an EKG to look at his heart and mainlined him some pain meds. And I'm just like holding his head there and talking him through the whole thing. He was hanging on to me giving him hope in that moment. Because right there, he's not thinking objectively. He's concussed. Everything hurts. It's scary. He's on his back. The sun's shining. Craig's over him. We're all sweaty. So there's like sweat dripping on him. It's nasty. It's just like, so, but then we like got him back to the hospital. And finally, like the morphine or something like kicked in, whatever they gave him. He was just like in the back of the ambulance, just like, oh, thank God, Timmy, that you were there. Like, oh, this is all over. No, I'm going to be okay, man. It's just like, oh, thank God for painkillers. Like he's feeling a lot better. So we get to the hospital. They bring the x-rays in. They do this thing. His femur's just like broken in half. They're like, all right, you're in the hospital tonight. We're going to like put a rod in your thing and fix it all up. Mind you, this is like hours later. I'm still just like standing in my kit with my shoes on, holding my helmet. I was just like, whew. Hey, where's my bike? I had no clue where my bike was. They had gotten a van and picked up my bike and got me in the car, started taking me back. They're like, hey man, do you need anything? I was like, dude, I would kill for some pad thai. And then just like ate that, showered off, and just like sat back down at the team hotel and cracked a beer and was like, that was rough. But that was like the craziest like ever, like where someone crashed in front of you and was like, wow. You know, it sucks to crash, but if it's gonna happen, like that was fate. That you're gonna do it that day with all of us around you. Disaster to triumph. Like even now, like almost 2 years later, like he just did another Ironman. Is now like an all-world athlete, which is like a huge deal.